Welcome into the Farmers Union pregame show. As always, I'm Ken Oda. Coby Brault is alongside Tauros, coming in off of a sweep of the Aberdeen Wings, looking to push the division lead to 8 against Bismarck tonight.
Yeah, and it was a great weekend to be a Tauros fan. Tauros absolutely dominating the Wings, 4-1 both nights, outshot them by 36 on the weekend. And to me, the second period was a story all weekend. Outscored them 2-0 in the second on Friday night, distanced themselves and kind of coasted through the third. Same exact thing on Saturday night, getting 3 goals in that second period on Saturday. It was a great weekend here at the Pepsi, and now the Tauros get to finish off this 5-game home streak. Hopefully, or homestand, I should say, hopefully with a victory against the team down south.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for the Tauros and the Bobcats. Really, this meeting on a rare Tuesday, a big one. Tauros have a 6-point lead. These teams see each other 4 more times after tonight. So as they battle for that top spot in the Central Division, the Tauros can either push the lead to 8 tonight or see it cut to as little as 4. So a big swing tonight, regardless of which way it goes.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting, Ken, obviously Bismarck being the closest team in the division leads to some weird scheduling. This will be the third game against Bismarck on a weekday. Previous 2 were 2 losses for the Tauros, lost in a shootout back here on October 19th, and then lost 6-5 at the VFW the day before Thanksgiving in a game that I remember you quoting saying it looked like it was being played on a Wednesday. Yeah. Just a 6-5 kind of a wild one. Also played them on a Sunday this year as well. We're able to get the win. But yeah, just kind of some weird scheduling, and then like you said, very backloaded with those four games left in the month of April. So huge one tonight, obviously. 4-2-1 the season series in favor of the Tauros right now, and you'd love to see them push that further, not only for rivalry's sake, the Totten Trail Rivalry, but also for seeding's sake, trying to lock in that not only the playoff berth but the 1 seed as well.
Yeah, from a Tauros perspective, a win tonight goes a long way to making sure that those 4 games in April don't really matter in the standings, right? If you're the Tauros and you can have a 9-point lead heading into those last 4 games, then it doesn't matter what happens in those. The Tauros will still have the division in hand. Of course, if you're Bismarck, a win tonight cuts that Tauros lead down to 4. You got to think the Tauros hopefully are picking up 4 points next weekend in North Iowa, so still an uphill battle for Bismarck, but the hill's a lot less steep if they can get the win tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, 2 of the hottest teams in the entire North American Hockey League coming into tonight. Bismarck 8-1-1 in their last 10. They had a loss against Aberdeen at home on February 24th, and then it was that February 10th game in overtime down in Bismarck that the Tauros were able to get the job done, and that was one of the best games of the year, and it looked like 2 of the best teams in the league right at that point.
For sure. You've alluded to it, so let's take a look at the Central Division standings. Tauros, as we said, 73 points, 36-12-1. Franchise record for wins in a season is 38, so if the Tauros get a win tonight, they could break that record this weekend in North Iowa. Bismarck hot on their heels, 32-13-3, just 6 points back. Again, 8-1-1, the hottest team in the division of late. Then Austin, with their sweep of St. Cloud and the Tauros sweeping Aberdeen, have jumped back ahead of the Wings into 3rd place. It's just a few weeks ago that we were starting to write their eulogy, and now they're back all the way in 3rd. St. Cloud now on the outside looking in after getting swept by Austin. Austin and St. Cloud meet again for a pair this weekend. Tauros get the North Iowa Bulls, which leaves the Bobcats and Aberdeen to match up.
Yeah, and we alluded to it last weekend, but that 3-4-5 race is about as tight as it gets, and we're used to seeing that 1-5 in the Central, but this season with the Tauros and the Bobcats both separating themselves, that 3-4-5 down the stretch is going to be very interesting to watch. And like we said, Aberdeen, if they don't take care of business, could find themselves on the outside looking in. 2 against Bismarck does not get any easier for them after spending the weekend up here in the Mesa this past weekend. So a lot to sort out here still in the Central, but one of the bigger matchups of the year, and it's getting played on a Tuesday night here at the Pepsi. You couldn't ask for much more as a Tauros fan.
Yeah, and you look at it, the Tauros still don't have the little X next to their name on the standings, still mathematically haven't clinched the playoff spot. That could change with a victory tonight, of course. Practically, because Austin, Aberdeen, and St. Cloud all play each other, they can't all win out. So the Tauros, while they haven't on paper clinched a playoff spot, it's virtually impossible for them not to have one regardless of the outcome tonight.
Yeah, and we talk about how great this Tauros team has been all season. Just 13 losses on the year, 12 in regulation, 1 in overtime, and they still don't have that X next to their name. That just goes to show how tight the Central is, how good the Central is, weekend in and weekend out. And you mentioned that record-breaking win total and how it's obtainable Saturday if they're able to get the win tonight. How fitting would that be to get that up? You'd prefer to have it at home, but to get it down in North Iowa, this team has been breaking records all season. To add that would be awesome.
That'll bring us to our Noodles numbers, a look a little bit closer at the numbers for tonight's matchup against Bismarck. Goals per game, Tauros just a little bit ahead of Bismarck. Same for goals against per game. The big difference, you look at how good the Tauros have been, plus 67 goal differential. The Bobcats at plus 46, not that far behind them. It's really the difference of maybe a half a goal every game at this point. So the Bobcats playing strong as well. Both teams middling on the power play, strong on the penalty kill. Special teams always seems to be a factor when these two teams go head to head, but penalty kills have been great.
Yeah, and in the 7 matchups that we've had so far this season against Bismarck, there's kind of been outlier games. We mentioned that 6-5 on that Wednesday. We mentioned, the 2-1. We've seen a variety of styles of play between these two teams, but this penalty kill for the Tauros has just been lights out. Besides the third period power play goal that they gave up on Saturday night, they had not given up a power play goal besides the last time that Bismarck was here on February 9th. And so, with a penalty kill like that, power play coming along, it makes this team really dangerous. And I really do think it will come down to special teams tonight. I think that's a great point.
That'll bring us to our Minotauros Booster Club players to watch. I'll kick this one off. I'm going with the cat killer, Caden Casey. He's got 3 goals, 4 assists in 7 games against Bizzo this year.
Yeah, Caden has been lights out against Bismarck all season long. I look for him to have a great game tonight as well. And for me, I'm going Nicholas Zawecki. He had a goal on Friday.
An unreal goal on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a filthy goal on Friday. Arguably could have been player of the week. We're a little biased there, though. But he also had the OT winner down in Bismarck on February 10th in that 2-1 overtime victory, the last time that these two teams saw each other. We've alluded to it a lot in this pregame show. But I look for Zawecki to stay hot and to have a big game tonight.
That'll bring us to our home key group keys to the game. And Coby, I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, for me, it's all gas, no brakes. This tonight starts 3 games in 5 days for the Tauros. That's coming off of, 2 games this past weekend. And so kind of a playoff feel to the schedule as of late. They also see the Bobcats 4 more times after this. And so they got to go all gas tonight. They got to get this one tonight because, like you said, that hill gets much steeper for the Bobcats in terms of realistically obtaining that 1 seed if they don't get the win tonight. So it's got to be all gas, no brakes. Tauros got to come out with their hair on fire and hopefully get the 2 points.
And for me, the key is, I'm saying, bounce back Brady. Brady James has been stellar for the Tauros this year, but against the Bismarck Bobcats, an .875 save percentage and a 3.459 goals against average. Compare that to how he's played against everyone else in the division combined, a .923 save percentage and a 1.803 goals against average. So for whatever reason, the Bobcats have had Brady's number. Realistically, as we've talked about, these are the top 2 teams in the division, probably lining up for a second-round matchup, barring an upset. So as well as these 2 teams played, you'd love for Brady James to get some confidence against the Bobcats with a big performance tonight.
Yeah, and you can't say enough about the 2 net minors for the Tauros. Obviously, those numbers are a bit of an outlier against just specifically Bismarck.
And certainly that one crazy game you talked about where it was 6-5 final, that definitely, with a small sample size of just 4 games played for Brady, affected those numbers for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both goalies have been playing very well as of late. Brady gets the nod tonight, and we looked for him to bounce back last Friday against Aberdeen after struggling the Friday before against Austin. He did just that, had a great, great night as the Tauros got the 4-1 win. So hopefully he can piggyback off that and find some more success tonight.
That'll bring us to our Four Bears Casino and Lodge over-unders. Fans, you can play these in the Tauros Hockey mobile app. Download it for Apple or Android. Get your guesses in if you haven't downloaded it already. Coby, I'll let you play along. Tauros first period goals, you mentioned fast start, part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over. I think that the boys in the locker room understand the meaning of this game tonight and the meaning of this Totten Trail Rivalry. I think that they're going to come out hot, and I think they're going to get at least 1 in the first.
Tauros and Bobcats have had some wild line brawls over the years. A lot of back and forth. The rivalry is certainly heated, especially with both teams being good this year. Total combined penalty minutes, 16.5.
I'm going to go with the under. I think this game is going to go one or two ways. I think it's going to be one of those crazy games with a lot of fights, a lot of jawing, or I think it's going to be a very clean game in terms of both teams knowing what's at stake, both teams going for those 2 points and trying to keep themselves out of the box, keep themselves out from being down a man. So I think I'm going to go under on that one.
Last one, Toros have been out shooting everyone they've played of late. Pretty much, I shouldn't even say of late, all season long. Toros shot differential plus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on that one. That one is one of the safer bets that I think we have in this Forebears Casino and Lodge over/under game. Yeah, give me the over all day on that.
McDonald's Toros trivia time as well. You can play this in the Toros Hockey mobile app as well for a chance to win a free lunch from our friends at Dakota Drive McDonald's. What is the Toros record against Bismarck in playoff games? It's one of my favorite Toros stats.
Yeah, I know for a fact that a majority of Toros fans know this answer. I would venture to guess that a majority of Bobcats fans also know this answer. I think that, actually, I'm pretty confident that it is 6-0. I don't believe that the Toros have ever lost a playoff game to the Bobcats, if memory serves correctly.
Well, that'll do it for the Farmers Union pregame show. Time to turn you over to the PA for tonight's starting lineups.